Okay, you guys, so let me tell y'all what just went down in Atlanta because this put the Beehive on edge. Y'all, Beyonce's team was allegedly robbed in Atlanta, and this was no regular smash and grab either. We're talking unreleased music, set lists, tour footage, and designer items all gone. So this happened on July the 8th, and it was two key members of Beyonce's crew. It was her longtime choreographer, Christopher Grant, and her dancer, DeAndre Blue. So they were out in Atlanta, and they parked their rental Jeep Wagoneer at a parking garage near Krog Street Market. They go about their business, but when they come back to the car, the back window's been smashed in and two full suitcases are missing. Now, this is where it gets messy. So inside those bags were hard drives and jump drives, and those allegedly contained unreleased Beyonce music, show set lists, footage from rehearsals, and even plans for upcoming Atlanta shows. And the high-end stuff that they took, designer glasses, laptops, AirPods, and other valuables. But the music and tour content, that's what has the fans shook. We're talking about exclusive files, watermarked, private, and not meant for the public at all. Now, the Atlanta Police Department did get involved immediately, and the investigation is still active, but here's what they found. They used the Find My feature connected to the stolen AirPods, and that led them to a possible suspect's location. They stopped the car, reportedly a red 2025 Hyundai Elantra, and while no arrests were made, they did collect fingerprints and are still reviewing the surveillance footage from the garage. So somebody has already been questioned, but so far nobody's been officially charged. And of course, the security question is loud too. Why was all that sensitive content just sitting in the trunk of a rental SUV? People are dragging them for not locking that stuff in a hotel or safe and just leaving it out in the open. But let's be real, when you're moving fast, things happen. It's unfortunate, but it's a huge wake-up call, and I hope they are listening. Now, Atlanta police also took the moment to remind people about their Clean Car campaign, basically saying don't leave stuff in your car, even if you think it's hidden, because clearly people are watching. So now we wait. Will the music be leaked? Will we get a surprise drop, or will they recover it before it ends up on Reddit or Twitter? Either way, that car break-in might have just set off a chain of events that Beyonce did not approve. And I'm really wondering, what did Beyonce have to say about this? I wonder, was she mad at them? Was she just upset with the situation, or mad at all? Now, knowing Beyonce, how strict she is, how much of a perfectionist she is, I'm pretty sure this pissed her off, because it was no telling what were on those files. But y'all let me know, what do y'all think about this crazy situation? But I'm going to be real, it does not surprise me, because Atlanta is known for that, okay? Atlanta is known for smashing in your windows, stealing your stuff, okay? So I'm really surprised that they were that careless about leaving things in that car. But y'all let me know what you think about everything in the comments below. Moving on to the next story. Okay, you guys, so let's get into this, because things are heating up online, and it has to do with Chrisean and her baby, but it's kind of like, what else is new? But this alleged information is very heartbreaking, honestly. Now, I'm not going to post the actual documents here for legal reasons, but I am going to tell you exactly what's being said and what's being alleged in them. So this week, some screenshots have been floating all over Twitter and TikTok, and they claim to show what looks like medical records tied to Chrisean Jr. Now, I'm not saying they're real, but I'm also not saying they're fake. I'm just reporting what's being discussed and what's visible on those posts. Now, in these alleged documents, they say the baby tested positive at birth for opioids, cocaine, and alcohol. It also lists several conditions like neonatal abstinence, seizure disorder, spasticity, and even something called cortical visual impairment, which affects how the brain processes what the eye sees. That's some serious stuff, y'all. Now remember, this is all alleged. Now also, the files allegedly also show that the baby is supposedly under the care of multiple specialists that allegedly include neurology, cardiology, orthopedics, and allegedly even more than that. Now, one part even mentions that the mother, again allegedly Chrisean, admitted to using cocaine and alcohol regularly during the pregnancy. And that's what the screenshots are claiming. Now, these images were posted by an account going by the name King K's. Now, I will say I went and looked at this account, y'all, and the account is gone. So I don't know if the account got flagged or taken down because of the information posted or what. Now, what they posted, they did not hold back at all. They accused Chrisean, her team, and even Blueface of lying to the public about the child's condition, saying that people tried to make it seem like the baby was healthy when in reality, he's been dealing with a lot. They also went off on anyone defending her, saying that the proof is in the child. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying that any of this is confirmed. Again, this is allegedly. I don't know how these records were obtained, and I'm not verifying whether they're legitimate or not. But what I can tell you is that these allegations are spreading fast, and people on TikTok, Reddit, and Twitter are all talking. Now, some believe it, others say it's a smear campaign. Either way, the story is picking up traction and people are watching closely. Now, I had to look up certain things because my logic is if they found all this in the baby's system, wouldn't they have just taken him from Chrisean? But based on my research, y'all, it's not as black and white as we would assume. So if all those allegations are true, if he had all those drugs in his system and Chrisean allegedly admitted to using cocaine and alcohol while she was pregnant with that child, then yes, CPS or some kind of child welfare investigation would have been triggered automatically. Hospitals are legally required to report any suspected prenatal substance exposure in newborns, especially if it's multiple substances. But here's the key. Just because a report is made doesn't mean the baby is automatically taken, which I didn't know. So basically, here's how it typically works. If the baby tests positive at birth for drugs or alcohol, the hospital files a report with Child Protective Services immediately. Again, it's mandated. CPS evaluates the situation. Is the baby being properly cared for? Does the parent have a support system? Is there a safe environment? Is the parent in treatment or showing effort? If the risk is high, they can remove the child temporarily, okay? They can assign a caseworker for check-ins, require court-ordered parenting classes, drug testing, or rehab. If the parent cooperates and the conditions are met, the child can stay in the home, even with known drug exposure. So if these allegations are allegedly true, as long as Chrisean is showing that she's trying basically, then she'll be good to go. Now, again, going back to all of this is allegedly, okay? Again, we don't know where these documents came from. But let me also say this to be fair. Now, a lot of people have been coming down on Chrisean because she's not getting Junior any help, or they feel that she's not. Now, do I believe she's getting the baby help for his alleged condition? I don't know. But at the end of the day, she does not owe anybody an explanation. Does she need to get the baby help? Absolutely. Does she owe us or the public any explanation or explain to us that she's getting the baby help, what she's doing to get the baby help? She owes us nothing, to be real. But I'm really hoping that she is getting that baby some help. But I want to know how you guys feel about this. I mean, if y'all go on TikTok or Twitter and read those documents, y'all, my jaw was on the floor, honestly. So I'm hoping that it's not true. I'm hoping that those documents are false. But I want to know what you guys feel about this whole situation. And if you have seen those documents, do you believe them? But that's all I have for you, and I'll talk to you later.
Okay, Chrisean Rock. So there's been some medical documents that have been released that people are saying are the medical documents of Junior, Chrisean's son. I'm going to tell you where to go to watch this on YT in a minute. So I don't know if these are actually Junior's medical records, but I will say that the medical records appear to have been written by a medical professional, just the terminology that was used and stuff. Okay? I do believe there's somebody's medical records, all right? Now, the one thing that makes me a little leery about it is it says that the mother admitted to prenatal substance abuse, and it listed some substances that she admitted to. I just find it hard to believe that Chrisean would ever even admit that.
So allegedly, Chrisean Jr.'s medical records been leaked. I don't know how true it is, but it's saying that he got all type of stuff and how she was being neglectful. But my thing is, if the doctors test the babies after they were born and they see that something, like if she was doing substances or something, she would have had to suffer the consequences. So I'm not sure if everything is true or not, but whoever did leak that is about to face some serious charges because the HIPAA laws. Like, why would y'all leak that anyways?
So apparently somebody that leaked Chrisean Jr.'s medical records from when he was born, listing the list of issues that he had. One of the issues being alcohol fetal syndrome, another one dealing with his ophthalmology, dealing with his sight, something else dealing with pulmonary, dealing with his lungs. I'm gonna tell y'all like this, there's so much fake news going on right now. I'm going to take this with a grain of salt, even though the person who posted it tagged Blueface and Carlissa in it. Also proving that she didn't take no prenatal vitamins when she was pregnant. Listen, y'all, when you have a baby, there are so many tests that are performed during, after your labor, right? So if the doctors found something that could have been a cause due to the neglect of the mother, she would have had some type of consequence. Chrisean suffered no consequence, which is why I take this so-called news with a grain of salt. But we all know something going on. So I don't know if the hospital that she had the baby at, it is a well-known hospital for celebrities, and they do tend to cover shit up. But I'm pretty sure nobody not about to risk losing their license, misdiagnosing a child who's clearly having all of these difficulties and developmental delays. They're not gonna write something like, oh, the baby is healthy when the baby not healthy. Like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe they had advised her to get the baby certain kind of help, and they probably worded it on the paperwork as if it was natural causes and not due to the neglect of the mama. I don't know. Who the fuck knows? All I know is there's a story going around showing fake or true diagnosis and records from the baby. I don't know. But I'm going to look more into it, y'all. I'll come back if they, if it's true or not.
Okay, who's out here breaking HIPAA laws? Apparently, there's some medical records of Chrisean and her baby floating around, and I don't know if it's true. This is all alleged, but I'm just gonna share what I learned. Maybe, allegedly. So it says that the baby suffers from fetal alcohol syndrome and neonatal abstinence syndrome. So neonatal abstinence syndrome is basically the baby is withdrawing from opioids, some sort of drugs, but they're thinking either opioids or cocaine in this case. And allegedly, but he also allegedly suffers from spasticity, which is like a neurological disorder that makes it hard for people or babies to move their limbs. He also suffers from seizure disorder and CVI. Now, CVI is cortical visual impairment, which is just it means that a part of his brain has been damaged, the part of his brain that controls his vision. So he has blindness. Like, a lot of I've heard people say this, but I just didn't believe it. But oh my God. It also says that he should be in palliative care. Now, I work in hospice, and a lot of people, they believe that palliative care and hospice is interchangeable, but it's not. Palliative care kind of focuses more on prolonging the life of the child or person in general. But in this case, if he should be on palliative care, he's got a very serious medical condition, and she needs to be taking care of him. How? As a mother, do you know these diagnoses, or do you know any of this information about your son and not help him in any way? Continue to live the same lifestyle that you lived before you had him. When you become a mother or father, but in this case, we're talking about mothers. When you become a mother, your life changes.
You need to change, to adapt, to make sure that you are putting your child above yourself, especially someone who has the serious medical issues that Junior has. Pathetic. She's pathetic. But all of these things are incredibly serious. I have literally no words. Chrisean disgusts me.